to the deaths of 260 people there, just miles from the border of Gaza in Israel. That's where Alan Marek was. He's a festival goer who escaped with his life, thankfully. We bring him in now live to talk with us more about that harrowing escape. Good morning, Alan. I hope you're doing well.
Good morning. Hello.
Now tell me, how did all of this unfold? Explain to me your experience, please.
Okay, so first I would like to say, you said 260 people who were killed. So yeah, it's 260 people who were killed and at least 50 more who was taken hostage. So it's important to say as well. So my personal experience, I attended the festival. I went with a friend of mine. It all started around 6:30 a.m. When the producers of the festival went on stage. They stopped the music and they told us that the rockets being launched from Gaza into Israel. So they asked us all to lay down on the ground and put our hands above our head. It was enough just to look at the sky. You could see all the sky was colored in red. You could see the missiles being launched from Gaza. You could see the Iron Drone, the Israeli system of air defense, exploding the rockets while being in the air, so they won't explode inside of Israel territory. So everybody was laying down on the ground, and a few moments later, when we understood that it won't stop anytime close, so they asked us to take all of our belongings and go home as quickly as possible in a safe way. So my friend and I we went to the camping area because there was a camping area. We took all of our belongings. We said goodbye to our friends that we met there. And we went towards the car. So entering the car took us also a few moments to understand where is the car, because there was like many cars and some panic on the scene. So entering the car, trying to exit the parking, there was a big line of cars because everybody was trying to escape. Everybody was thinking we're trying to escape the rockets, so a rocket won't fall on us, but nobody imagined the next hours that actually happened. So as we are exiting the parking, we arrived to the main road when you can either turn right towards the south of Israel or you could turn left towards the north of Israel. And it was only one road to exit from this festival. So my friend and I, living in Haifa in the north of Israel, we took left. And there was a big line of cars that was formed, starting a jam because everybody was trying to escape. And maybe 3-4 minutes later, we see all the cars in front of us doing a big U-turn and going back towards the festival. So we are driving slowly and all the cars in front of us doing a U-turn and going back. We didn't understood why. And we arrived at the situation that we were the first car in the line and everybody was in front of us, went the other way in some panic, but I think nobody really understood why. So I'm looking ahead and I can see 200 meters ahead, a few cars on the side of the road. So I told my friend, like, it's probably the police or the army that they block the route because maybe a rocket had fallen. And it must be the police, and we will go ahead, and if it's the police, they will tell us that the road is blocked and we need to find a new way to get back home. So we start driving, and then I look to my right and I can see 3 police officers holding their gun in the air, walking shoulder to shoulder and walking towards something. And I look a little bit further, like 20, 30 meters further, and I can see a Hamas terrorist hiding behind a small minivan with a big machine gun aiming at the police. And there's a fire, they're starting to fire at each other. So I'm telling my friend who's driving take your head down, and go like as fast as you can. So we're seeing all this scene just next to us on the side of the road. And then we could see all the cars on the side of the road. All the windows were broken, were shattered. You could see blood on the road, and we understood that a few moments before, this Hamas terrorists that we saw, they were waiting for people who were driving on the road, and they were just firing at everybody and slaughtering people. So it was a matter of minutes, that we managed to escape. And these 3 police officers, which I don't know if they are alive or dead, they probably saved our life. And yes, and then we managed to escape, and with all the adrenaline in our body. 20 minutes later, there's a rocket that had fallen also just near the car, maybe 50 meters away. The car was shaking. The windows inside our car were broken a little bit. And then we managed to arrive home safely. And starting immediately calling everybody at the festival that we knew, trying to understand if everybody are okay. Some friends are picking up, some friends don't pick up, and immediately you fear the worst. One of our friends who picked up, like he was telling us, I cannot speak, I cannot do nothing because I can hear Arabic next to me, I can hear all the gunshot. He was just hiding inside a bush. And this was the reality of this Saturday morning. People who are hiding and running away in fields, and people who couldn't even breathe on the phone. So the terrorists won't know that they are hiding and won't discover them. And we knew about a friend of us who was killed because, like, as I returned home with my friend, I went to his family home, and we sat, and with all the adrenaline and with calling our friends and trying to understand what was happening, Hamas was starting to post on social media videos and photos of people he was kidnapping and people he was slaughtering, and all of the horrors that he was doing. I don't know how is it possible, but this is their pride, to post everything that they were doing. And that's how we discovered about a friend of us that was killed by a photo that Hamas posted. And yeah, so it's been like horrible days and horrific times, horrific scenes.
The entire story that you tell is just an absolutely terrifying one, something no one should have to live through. In the wake of this, how are you feeling? How are you processing all this?
So it's not easy, but there's in Israel, you can feel the togetherness, I call it, like, because it feels like every person in Israel knows somebody who was killed, who was kidnapped, and this is really the feeling. So there's a togetherness that everybody tries to reconfort, and we try to, as much as possible, to stay strong. The first day were very, very difficult. Like every morning that I was waking up, after barely sleeping, the first thing I did was opening the news and checking the people that was killed during the night, maybe soldiers that I fought with years ago when I was doing my military service, or maybe a new body that they discovered from the festival, and maybe it's someone I know. So it was really difficult days. But yeah, I'm trying to talk about it as much as possible. It feels like my personal therapy, and we're doing everything as possible to try and stay strong. And now I'm gonna join my friends at the army also to fight. So we need to keep our head like thinking about other stuff and not falling apart.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that from a lot of people. Actually, another guest that we had booked today who attended the festival itself and survived just called to cancel, telling me that he was actually called up to military service. Are you a reservist, and do you plan to go fight?
I am a reservist. I plan to go and fight and join my friends. Yes, I was actually called the day after the festival, and I was supposed to already join them. But then there was some changes, and they asked me to come later. In the same week, and this didn't happen as well. So I'm gonna join them this week because I had some other things I had to do. But yeah, let's say my friend who was with me in the festival, like the next morning, was already in the border and starting to fight, and yeah.
Wow, and I'm hearing so many Israelis, not just in Israel, but around the world, being called up and returning to your country to help with that battle. How do you feel about this situation now, as Israel is at war for the first time in decades?
Yeah, so like looking at the news in Israel, everybody calls this the war on our home, because it really feels like it's a war on our home and on our lives, because now we're fighting Hamas, but Hezbollah in the north is threatening and Iran is threatening. So we've got so many things to manage, and it's not only Hamas now, it's also in other places that we can get attacked from. So it really feels like it's a big war, and it's an important one. And we have also more than 200 hostages in Gaza that we need to free them. We need to free them because there's families waiting for their for their beloved ones and for their kids to come back home. And we need to make sure that also something like this will never happen again, because we didn't want this war. We didn't want it, and it's like now we have to fight. We have to make sure that something like this will never happen again. And this is why we're gonna the plans is to enter Gaza and to destroy Hamas, and that really to make sure that we will never see these scenes again, and that we can all live in security inside our country.
I know many people hope that as well for you. They pray for peace there in the region and in Israel, especially between the Gaza Strip there. Alon Marek sharing his harrowing escape from a terrorist attack in southern Israel on a music festival. 260 people at least were killed there, and another 50 taken hostage. We appreciate you joining the show. Anything we haven't asked you, anything you'd like to add?
I would like for all the people watching, just say thank you for the support, and it's really important to know what is happening in Israel and not closing the eyes to these scenes. And it's so we're hoping for better days, and we're hoping really for better days. And thank you for the opportunity to share my story.
Alon, thank you very much. And as you return to service to fight for your country, we pray for your safety as well, and for so many others there in the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, it's 8:47 now here on the East Coast, 5:47 over on the West Coast. We're headed out to a quick commercial break. We'll return in just 2 minutes.